On the line, Rachel Bolan from Skid Row. Rachel, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, no problem
It's
at
exciting.
all. Now, we all know the beginning of Skid Row. You were there right from the beginning, and Scotty joined very shortly afterwards. But as far as Australians became aware of Skid Row, you three have been there all along. How's the bond between you three after all these years?
You know what? Honestly, I think it's stronger than ever. We understand each other so well at this point. We know by the looks on each other's faces if someone's going to have a meltdown or whatever. But yeah, it's very strong. And the fact of Rob Hammersmith and ZP being in the band, it's just, it's such a tight-knit unit, family vibe, just, messed up rock and roll family. And it's pretty amazing to be doing it all this time and to still have fun at it,
Yeah. How's the ride been so far?
Yeah, well, there's been its peaks and valleys, but essentially here we are almost 30 years later, and since the first record came out, and we're still having fun, man. We're still touring the world, so much so that we had to tell our agents no more shows for 2018 because we're writing a record. We want to get this done. So that's a really good problem to have.
Now, looking back, you mentioned, the first record. We're here on the other side of the world. The first album just exploded. Was it too much too soon?
No, I don't think so. My whole life I pictured something like that. When it happened, it was like it was happening to someone else because we were just so busy all the time, either playing or traveling or whatnot. 2 years were gone in a blink of an eye.
Yeah,
But
I'll bet. Yeah.
as far as too much too soon, it wasn't for me.
Now, just a little, you might say personal story, but you mentioned happening to someone else. This happened to you. Now, on stage in front of me in, was it 1989 here in Adelaide, you probably came this much, now I'm doing this because we're on cam, to dying in front of me because Sebastian was windmilling 10, 12 feet of microphone, and you were walking along, you spotted it, and you went back, no shit, this much.
Yeah.
Was that a common thing?
That was an issue.
Yeah.
That was an issue. That was always brought up after the show.
Yeah. Okay. Now, Sebastian was with you for 9 years, then Johnny came in. Now, he stayed 16 years. Now, the stuff I heard from that era I liked. Now, that was a long stint, but what happened in the end there?
Well, without dragging anyone through the mud, because he was a brother, things just, as much as we clicked in the beginning, we didn't towards the end of his time with the band. And those things just happen, we don't wish him any will, never did, and he's doing his thing now, and we're doing ours. So it was just one of those things. Just things change over years, like any other marriage. You know what I mean? Things just change.
Now, Mr. ZP, how did it come that he joined the band?
Z and I were friends beforehand. A mutual friend of ours. He called me and said, "Hey, Z has left Dragon Force," and I was always a fan of ZP's voice. He said he had left Dragon Force and is looking to put a side project together, and he knew I was looking to do something on the side for fun, and we had a show in Russia, so I went to England just to hang out, and to London and just to hang out and talk, and we got along great, had a lot of the same influences, and said right there, yeah, let's put something together. Well, fast forward a few years, neither one of us had any time, and the division of the Atlantic Ocean kind of stalled that. And when it came time to look for a new singer, he was on top of our short list. So we called him. He came over and effortlessly just barreled through the songs. And here we are now, 3.5 years later.
Now, you mentioned about having to put an end to shows for 2018 because you've got an album happening. What's going on there? How far are we advanced?
Well, We have a bunch of songs written. We're in pre-production when we have time. We're doing the record with Michael Wagner, so we've been in pre-production a few times, just working out arrangements and all that fun stuff. And when I say fun, I mean tedious. Let's not do this here. Let's move this here. And after a while, it takes you a few days after making all the changes to actually get your head around what you did. But we've done that with a few songs, and we're doing it in such different shifts, like in open windows in schedules, that to me it's really nerve-wracking, but I'm starting to get used to it, because we're used to just, okay, here's 6 months. We're going to go in, we're going to do all the after songs are written, here's 6 months. It's going to do pre-production, get in the studio, do it. Well, we can't do it that way these days because of our touring schedule, and also Michael's schedule. He's very busy. So we're doing it any way we can. And once we get in the studio to record, we're going to be there till it's done.
How did it come about that you were touring Australia? It's been a long time since you've come to Australia. How did this one come about?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the last time. Was that 2013 with Ugly Kid Joe? We got the offer. Our agent brought the offer up, and we immediately said yes, because it's just a really fun place to be, first of all. And rock and roll is still so alive and well in Australia. It's ridiculous. It's awesome.
All right, so we've got Adelaide at the Gov on October 23. That is going to go off.
That's what I hear.
Whereabouts are you touring now? Are you touring now?
Yeah, we are. We just did a show, and we were overseas in Belarus. We did a show over there, and then we came back to the States, and we're just touring, doing a lot of fly dates in the States. Where am I going this weekend? We're going to Reno. We got one show out in Reno. Snake is actually down here at my house. Well, we write. Then we fly out to Reno, do a show, and then just doing a lot of shows in the Southeast and the Midwest of the States. And doing that up until we head to Australia. We go from Florida to Australia.
Excellent. All right. Rachel Bolan, Skid Row, just about out of time. Thanks for joining me today. Congratulations on everything so far, and really looking forward to seeing you guys October 23rd at the Gov here in Adelaide. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, man. Thank you, dude.